G'day everyone, Brian here. So, found some older video from our time at Karongwe Private Game Reserve in 2018. So I'm just going to do a best of, the underground hide photography at Karongwe Private Game Reserve. Okay, so did some video. Some of the video quality of the older ones, I think a lot of it was just done with a phone back in the day, but the images are still with the gear that I've got now, so there'll be photos involved as well. Give you a bit of an idea of what you can potentially see and photograph there. So I'm just going to get some background information, so I've got some notes in front of me. So Karongwe Private Game Reserve is about 50 minutes from Hoedspruit. Okay, so on the way to the Blyde, in the direction of the Blyde Canyon. Now if you're coming from Johannesburg going towards Hoedspruit, it's going to be after the Blyde Canyon. Once you go up and over and down and go across, Karongwe is going to be on your way to Hoedspruit from there. So either direction. And when we first went there, we took the shuttle from Johannesburg, and one of the stops there, because if you didn't have a car, was Karongwe Private Game Reserve. So it stopped at Hoedspruit, but also some of the private game reserves as well on the shuttle. So it was a pick up and a drop off, or vice versa, to get there. So about 50 minutes, and I'll put up a little map to give you a bit of an idea. And it's pretty straightforward to get to if you're driving. Literally, you drive down one road. If you're coming from Hoedspruit to Karongwe, you go a certain distance towards the Blyde Canyon, and then you're going to chuck a right-hand turn, and it's signed, Karongwe Private Game Reserve or Karongwe River Lodge. I can't remember exactly what the sign says. And on the other way, if you're coming over the Blyde Canyon towards Hoedspruit, it's going to be a left turn, whether it's 10 or 15 minutes from the bottom of the canyon when you go over the top or thereabouts, then you'll see a left-hand turn and it'll be signed Karongwe, and it's just one road to the reserve. So anyway, so currently there are 5 lodges on Karongwe Private Game Reserve, and they all come under the umbrella of the Karongwe portfolio. So they used to be kind of individually owned lodges, and now it's under one umbrella that owns all the lodges on Karongwe. Now the prices vary depending on the lodge, but when I've looked, sometimes, okay, you look at, the last time we stayed at the Karongwe River Lodge, and I can recommend that, and I've got other videos on that as well. But sometimes the River Lodge, for instance, is less expensive, and then another week or another month later it's more expensive than one of the other lodges. So just look around at the dates you're looking at, and you never know which one's going to be slightly cheaper at the time. I'm not sure the rhyme or reason. I use booking.com. You can book directly through Karongwe portfolio as well, and I'll put a link in the description for those guys. Okay, so they do, apart from the underground hides, obviously they're just like any other game reserve, private game reserve. You get your 2 drives a day, or you can choose the hide if you so desire. But it's important, if you're going to do the hides, because you never know if someone else is going to book them. There's only 6 seats within the different hides, so it's always recommended, if you're going to go there and you decide you want to do underground hide photography, highly recommended is to book early and let them know. So they were originally built by Inlovu River Lodge. It's now defunct. It didn't survive COVID, unfortunately, but it was back then when they were all just privately owned lodges within Karongwe Game Reserve, Private Game Reserve. It was Inlovu River Lodge that built the 2 hides that are on Karongwe. So they were built orientated so the sun is always behind the photographers. So if you're facing this way, sun is always behind you. So they have a morning hide and an afternoon hide, and they're orientated to the sun, so your subjects are front lit, not backlit with shadows. Obviously you need a decent day, non-cloudy day, to get the full effect of the front lit subjects. The morning hide is slightly smaller, not the hide itself inside, but the distance between the hide and the water's edge where the animals will come down and drink, and the width of the hide. So the morning one is slightly smaller, so bring a couple of different lenses. Okay, so if you've got a kind of a wide angle, something like that, or a zoom, like a 70 to 200 or something like that, and then if you've got a telephoto, or if you've got one of those ones that are like a 150 to 600, that'll probably serve you just fine, or whatever they equivalent they have these days in all the different brands. So, but just, you know, have some flexibility with your lenses when you go to the hide because of the distances and things like that. Telephoto obviously at the long end, because you do a lot of bird photography there as well. So, they, as I said, they can accommodate 6 people. Now, you don't have to be a photographer. You know, we've been there on our first visit back in 2018. There was 2 other couples there, and the 2 ladies weren't photographers. Their husbands were photographers, but they were both nature lovers, so they just enjoyed watching the animals come down. And I will say this, you've got to have patience. You just don't know. It's like a game drive. It's not natural that they're just coming down en masse all the time to the hide. When they do, it gets very, very exciting. So there's a level of anticipation and excitement, but be patient because you just don't know. I know people that have photographed cats coming up for a drink there. We haven't had that luck, but you know, we've had ellies and rhino and, you know, lots of other animals and lots of birds come down to photograph. So the comfortable office style chairs, they have bean bags there as well, and they've got like gimbals there as well, so you can mount, if you've got an Arca Swiss plate on your lens, then you can mount them on the gimbal if you so choose as well. Okay, so as the hides now service all the lodges, where back in the day only in Lovu River Lodge used the hides, it's an extra cost now above the, you know, where your other 2 where your game drives, if you just so choose to do those, are inclusive of the overall price. The hides are separate because you will go down there with your own guide from the lodge who'll spend the whole time with you. So it's an extra cost. Now, I'm just going to go back and have a quick look. Now, this is 2022 prices. I don't know whether they've changed, what they are now. You'd need to contact Karongwe Portfolio directly and ask them how much the hide sessions are. For me, it's totally worth it. Okay, and you get a long session, so it's a lot longer than a normal game drive. It's normally about 3.5 hours. You get about 6 hours. Now, we didn't spend the whole 6 hours because, well, we didn't need to because of the light. You know, if you're a photographer, you know, it's not going to be light till 7, whatever. But fundamentally, they'll tell you that the morning, you can do a full day, or you can do a morning, so 6 till 12, and then 12 till 6 p.m. So 6 a.m. to 12 midday, then 12 midday to 6 p.m. By 5-ish, the light's kind of gone anyway. And if you need to go to the bathroom, they'll take you there. Konami Lodge, from memory, if that's the one, is close-ish to the hides because they don't have bathrooms. They'll drive you over there if you need to use a bathroom, you know, sometime during the whole thing. And you get like a breakfast pack with, you know, juice, and you get water, or you get a lunch pack if you do the afternoon. So I'll give you an idea. Now, these were the prices back before. Okay, so a half day 2022 was 1,230 Rand per person. Then you had the levy to go into in Lovu Game Reserve, so that was like 390 Rand, and a full day per person was 2,160. Now, one of the things about these hides, which are different to other hides where you must stay at the camp, if you were like staying at Hoedspruit, for instance, and you just wanted to use the hides, you can actually pay just to use them without staying in the camp. So they will do like a fee for service. You know, you're staying in Hoedspruit for a few nights and you want to go and do some hide photography, you can just go out to Karongwe and they'll give you, you know, the pricing, the current pricing, and you can just use the hides if no one else is using them. So again, if you're thinking about doing it and you're going to stay in Hoedspruit, book well ahead, you know, because you will pay your deposit or whatever it is up front, so you can kind of book the hides for yourself for the times you want them. So that's about it about the hides, and I'll do some photography next and all the video and stuff like that, so I hope you enjoy that. But it's a totally unique perspective to do hide photography if you haven't done it before. I mean, you are sitting down low inside the hide and you're literally at the water's edge level looking at animals. So you get photos, images, videos you will not get on a normal game drive. It's totally unique, and for me, definitely worth doing if you're into photography and videography, or just animals coming up close. I mean, sometimes you're within meters. I mean, one time we had wildebeest literally walk into at the little height in the morning and walk within several feet of us. So, incredible experience. Enjoy the video, and again, I'll put the links in the description so you can approach Karongwe Portfolio if you want to stay there. Definitely worth a couple of nights, that's my opinion, and booking the hides if you're a photographer especially. So take care, enjoy the video and photos. I'll see you soon. Bye for now.